Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm joining you again this Friday evening, and Gauri is going to be joining me. And we are continuing with this week's topic. We had menstruation and fitness yesterday with Dr. Mukherjee, and today we are having menstruation and nutrition with Gauri Shingote. So let me see. I can see Gauri. Let me send out a request to her. I just have to see which account she's joining through. Okay, she has already sent me in. Okay, everybody is having a great evening, gearing up for the weekend. I think the lockdown is coming down, but let us not, let the guard down. Take all the safety precautions. And there, Gauri has joined us. Hey, Gauri, how are you? I
Hi.
hope you're doing well. You're looking nice and bright in the natural light, and the color is very much suiting you.
Oh,
So we
thank
must say
you.
that. So
Thank
it's
you.
great to have you. So I think yesterday you had a sneak of our show. Yesterday we had Dr. Mukherjee. And
Hmm.
firstly, welcome to the Hustling Muscle Show. I don't know why I forgot to do that. That is like compulsory. Okay.
True.
So welcome to the Hustling Muscle Show and to everybody tuning in. As I was telling before, today we are talking about menstruation and nutrition. Okay.
Hmm.
We have the lady, we have the expert, we have the veteran. She's going to be explaining the nutrition side of it. Okay. We had one veteran yesterday explain about the fitness side of it, and we had a very good response. I was very happy, guys. Thank you so much for those inboxes, for those DMs. It was brilliant. And today
Hmm.
we're going to have Gauri give us, her wisdom, her experience through this. Okay, Gauri, coming straight to the point. Okay,
Hmm.
what effects do women go through in this period during this time of the month for them? Okay, in terms of nutrition, and is there any change in their eating pattern, in their hunger pattern when they go through this particular period? Why ask it, especially for young girls who are having it for the first time? What is the nutrition effect on them? What is the diet pattern? What affects them? Could you just give an explanation to the viewers?
Sure, sure. So this you've asked multiple questions here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this up, okay? And I know Dr. Mukherjee yesterday talked about the different phases. There are the four very distinctive phases of the menstrual cycle. The first is the menstruation period, where the actual period happens. There's bleeding, and the endometrium just releases, and it is taken out of your body. That lasts for a few days, and it starts from the first day of that of your period to uh, to maybe 3 to 5 days, depending on the cycle for each woman is different. Then you go through this follicular period when your follicle is opening up and the egg is getting ready to be released and things like that. Then comes the ovulation phase, when that's the most fertile phase, where pregnancy can occur. So if women are trying to get pregnant, this is the perfect phase. And the fourth part is the luteal phase, which is the most important phase as when it comes to nutrition. That's what we're going to be talking about, because that's what your question is. But this is generally, like Dr. Mukherjee also explained yesterday, that this is generally the phases of the menstrual cycle for a woman, and this happens from the time a girl hits the maturity of about 11 years of age. Usually it is 11. Nowadays, we are seeing young girls having their periods a little sooner, maybe at the age of 8 and 9. So that is also a big thing that we are seeing a lot of. Is it a cause for concern? Yes, to a certain point. But then again, this is one of the biggest things. And the first period that a girl gets is called the menarche. Okay. So that's when your body's going through all kinds of changes. And like I said, there are four distinctive phases, but your body is going through multiple phases in terms of not just your hormones, your neurotransmitters, your brain chemicals, how they are reacting to what is happening because of the hormones. And all this culminates into a couple of things, like how a young girl or a teen girl reacts or eats or takes care of herself. It all culminates into this entire menstrual cycle. We have
You should let that
flybys here.
pass.
So the entire cycle itself is has different phases. Now, each of these phases has different times when when women, um, young girls, adolescent girls, the So when you talk about young women who are between the ages of 18 to 20, in their 30s, women who, who probably had children, one or two or multiple children. And then you come to the later phase of the 40s, the 50s, when women are coming to the fag end of their period cycle or their menstrual cycle, which is the menopausal stage. And believe me, every single stage has its nuances, it has its very particular requirements. Now, when we talk about nutrition, so that was the first thing that we you asked, well, how do what are the stages and how is nutrition important? So I'm going to come to the nutrition. How is nutrition important? Now, remember, from the age of 11, say, okay, for ease of understanding, from the age of 10 to the age of 50. I'm just giving general numbers. Women go through a period cycle every single month. That means every single month, their body is releasing a lot, the inner lining of their uterus, which is called the endometrium. So that is released, and that's what the blood is. This is like, for those of you who don't want to get graphic about it, sorry, but that's what it is. And this is a normal process. 50% of the population goes through this, and talking about it actually makes it normal. It is something that is absolutely natural. And women go through different phases of not just hormonal ups and downs and hormonal changes, but also hunger-based changes. So the entire phase of the menstrual cycle can have different peaks and valleys of how hungry they can get. One of the things that I said was the luteal phase is actually a very important phase, because that's when something that a lot of us refer to as PMS, premenstrual premenstrual syndrome, PMS, is when we have heightened amounts of hormones in our system, where our neurotransmitters are also going a little crazy or up and down, and the requirement for foods also changes. So our requirement for nutrients, like things like cravings, occur at this point, at the luteal phase. This is just before when we start the period, like a week before a woman starts her period. And that's when hunger pangs would increase. There are cravings for very specific foods, like salty foods, sweet foods. And so that's when a lot of women actually get into that trap of, what should I eat? Is my nutrition good at this point? So all of this comes to a certain, comes from a stage of, did you start with good nutrition? Did you start with good nutritional health? So if you are, and one of the biggest markers to start your period is the percentage of fat in a girl's body. So for a girl to reach menarche, the percentage is approximately required percentage minimum is 9 to 11% of body fat. Without that, girls don't start their period, and their period dates are advanced ahead. So they start at a later stage in life, or later stage in their teenage years. Now let's come to nutrition. Iron. You're bleeding. You bleed for about 1 to 5 days. Approximately 3 to 5 days. Blood comes out. The primary requirement to replenish the blood or the nutrient that comes out is iron. Iron is extremely important. One is because it is attached to the hemoglobin molecule. The hemoglobin molecule basically is it is really important for oxygenation of the blood of the entire system. And when women are having their menstrual period, basically there is bleeding. Now, depending on how much bleeding that is happening, your requirements can generally, for women who are in menstrual phase, require approximately 18 mgs of iron through their diet. Now, where do they get that from? They can get it from non-vegetarian sources like meats and fish, eggs, or you can get it from vegetarian sources and different other sources, like green leafy vegetables, legumes, nuts, those kind of things. So when a woman or girl goes into a period phase, one of the first things I would say is start off with a generally good diet. Be able to eat everything in moderation. The second thing that's really important in with the nutrition is, like Dr. Mukherjee said yesterday, nutrition is one component of it. It's a very important component, but so is fitness. Fitness actually helps in having regular periods. It also helps in relieving signs and symptoms of PMS. So that is something that you can, that I would always advocate. So nutrition is one thing, but so is fitness. So together they help.
So I think you already answered the second question that I wanted to ask, but that is nutrients are very important for a healthy living. So what are the nutrients which are, what are the nutrients that are lost during this particular time of the month? Okay. And are there any foods that women should eat? It is very much important for them to eat during this time. So I think you've answered this question, most of it. You've spoken
Yeah,
about iron.
I just wanted to add that, like, when I said that when a young girl starts her period, she requires 9 to 11%, about 11% body fat in her system to start her period. You know, which a lot of people don't realize is very, very important, because the fat in your system, it helps in terms of the hormonal balances. It also helps in terms of the neurochemical, the neurotransmitter, transmission that goes on during this phase and other phases of the period cycle. So having having a restrictive diet, or being very stringent on how many calories you're eating, or being body conscious at that time, doesn't really help, because this is an extremely normal process for a woman. And a lot of teenagers that we see nowadays have go through these phases where they feel that they need to be on diets, and they don't want to because they want to be in good shape and things like that, and they restrict themselves in terms of calories, the fat, and that's really not helpful, because because you need specific amount of calories for the growth pattern, and the replenishing of your uterus lining and those kind of things. Iron is another thing that we talked about. Things like folic acid, zinc, these are nutrients that are also released during, are required for the regeneration and a remake-up of the endometrial lining. Especially, so that is when there is no fertilization of the egg and there's no baby. But when there is a baby and fertilization, those needs are exponential. So the nutrient needs for pregnancy and lactation are completely different. But just for a general replenishment every month in, month out, women need to take care of themselves and make sure that they're getting proper nutrients from whole grain sources, legumes, fruits and vegetables that provide all these nutrients to them, so that they can replenish the nutrients lost through the blood. So this is something that I would definitely add to the one that I already did.
So that's quite a bit of information for people out there. I hope people are listening. I'm anyways going to be reposting this, so this is going to be very helpful for them. Now, coming to another part, mood swings. Okay, very common during periods. Okay, comfort foods. How effective are they during this part of the time? How much of food do you think is okay?
So it all depends. Okay, not every woman. Okay, let's break this question down into 2-3 parts. Okay, first is mood swings. Mood swings is usually during the luteal phase. That means a week before the actual bleeding occurs, the menstrual phase. That's when when ovulations occurred, but say it ovulations occurred, but the egg is not fertilized, and now it's coming to the waning part of the cycle. Hormonal changes occur, which also in turn have a major bearing on the neurotransmission or the brain chemistry that goes on at this period. Like I said before, a lot of women really have, a lot of women, not everybody. I'm not saying this is a blanketed rule, but a lot of women go through cravings, and usually one of the most common cravings that we see is salty foods, or complete flip side is sweet foods. Somebody, chocolate is one of the number one craved food during PMS. So mood swings occur and cravings occur. So now, when you ask comfort foods, now depends. Everybody has a different comfort food, but it's usually these two very specific tastes that women crave for. That's the salty foods or the sweet foods. So, is it good to indulge in this? At the time of it has also been shown, so that the multiple studies show that women at the PMS stage or the luteal phase of the menstrual cycle usually tend to eat higher amounts of calories because of that craving, because of those hormonal imbalances, hormonal change shifts, and also the neurotransmitter shifts that occur in their body. So they can, to a certain extent, go up to as much as 500 extra calories per day, which is quite a bit. But that's usually the point where a lot of women also complain about feeling bloated, and also complain about, that's when they feel like they put on weight. It's usually one of these things. Salty foods, if you eat a lot more salty foods because you're craving it, you will retain more water. Same goes with extreme sweet food. Sugar has the same ideology behind it. And third is because in that luteal phase, your hunger pangs have gone higher, you end up eating a little bit more. So that could be also another reason why the weight shifts also occur during this specific period.
Okay, that's again quite a bit of information you've given out there. Now, moving to the next question that I have. Any vitamin or supplements that will help during this time of the month? Because this is a very commonly question asked by a lot of young girls. They keep asking. This is, what they want to know. So do you think, are there any supplements or vitamins that are going to help them?
So, usually if your diet has been, or your nutrition has been good and, consistent, from the beginning of your cycle to whichever phase you're in, if you eat well, you make sure you eat all kinds of foods that are multi-grain food.
Okay, I think she's having internet issues, so she will be rejoining, or maybe just settles. So we'll just need to wait and see. But yes, this particular question that I asked is, pretty common, because I got DM'd also. A lot of people, ask me, please ask about the supplements. Please ask about, are there any vitamins, things like that. So let's see what take she has. Next week, we guys are planning to do a take. Okay, she has actually exited, so she's going to be joining us back. So let me see if I can already find her. I don't see anyone to send a request to. Yeah, I send her a request. And she should join us. Next week, we were going to be doing... Yes, Gauri, you're back. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. So basically, I was talking about, when we're talking about...
Supplements and vitamins.
Exactly. When we're talking about nutrition, if the girl's nutrition or the woman's nutrition has been decent, and they've been eating all the foods from all food groups in moderate quantities, and they're exercising, requirements usually for supplementation are not stringent. But here in India, we have a major issue of teen girls and preteen girls and women who are of childbearing age who are anemic. That is, anemia is a huge issue which brings down the productivity of a woman, that complicates issues such as pregnancy and lactation in further years. It also basically stunts growth because of the reduction in iron, available iron for oxygenation. It also is a major cause for stunted growth and other major issues. So anemia in India is a big problem. And I was looking at the statistics. One out of five girls worldwide is at any given point can be anemic. And one of the easiest ways to make sure that anemia is tackled is by simple things like making sure iron-rich foods are given, like green leafy vegetables with, with vitamin C, maybe an egg a day for those who can eat non-vegetarian foods, but being consistent with iron-rich foods. And the Indian government's really doing a brilliant job with their program that is Anemia Mukt Bharat, which is trying really hard at the grassroots levels to get rid of anemia because it has such a huge implication on the productivity of our country. So that's something I thought I should mention. People should know about this. Know about the programs out there that our government really works hard to make sure our kids are healthy and we have a productive output from the population. So supplementation, in my mind, if you're eating a normal diet, you should be good. However, as women grow older, I do usually suggest to them to have multivitamin supplementation, one pill on the first day of their period, have it for 10 days and then stop. So you have a cycle of 10 days on, 10 days and 20 days off for the supplementation, which is just good enough to give you that little extra edge when you've lost, especially for older women in a post, who've already had children and are in their phase of premenopausal, menopausal stage. For those women, I usually do suggest, because a lot of things are happening at those life stages, and
it's very important.
A little bit of supplementation always helps. Again, but then that's something that I leave open to them.
Yeah, but true. But because honestly, a lot of people do come back and ask, especially ladies, are there any supplements, anything to help with the discomfort is something they would try to,
So supplementation is different. Supplementation, when we talk about supplementation, we're talking specifically about nutrient-based supplements like, a multivitamin that has iron, a B complex, vitamin A, vitamin C, and all those kind of things. Those are the things that we're talking about. But when you're talking about things for cramps, one of the, painkillers and things like that, one of the easiest ways without specifically indulging in medicine, I would suggest is exercise. Exercise actually helps to relieve pain. And I know Dr. Mukherjee talked about that yesterday. And,
movement is medicine, as she always says.
Absolutely. Movement is medicine. And that is something that we really advocate young girls. Of course, young girls or women who have really stringent, severe cramps and things like that. Those are the days you would probably want to sit things out and, make yourself comfortable. But as soon as you're out of that phase, going back into your workout routine is really, really helps.
That's good information again given out, Gauri. Now, moving on to the next question that I have. Okay. The type of, diets that are followed, intermittent fasting is my favorite one to question about. Now,
right.
How safe is it, to follow these diets fast during this time of the month? Because I was hearing somebody tell, the other day, it's like eat before the sunset and don't eat until the sun has again rose and stuff like that. So that's like 15 odd hours of not eating anything. And for a person like me, I'm like, listening to that, I feel hungry. So I really would like to know your take when a lady is going through this time of the month and she is on intermittent fasting and things like that. Could you explain to the viewers, are there any effects or how?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that when we talk about intermittent fasting, a lot of women that we know who are who might be doing something like this, one of the biggest things that we notice is, crankiness. Is one is the hunger pangs that cause the agitation and the irritation, and second is if you're especially in the luteal stage or the PMS stage of your menstrual cycle, that is going to add to the angst. Let's just put it that way. Um, Usually what I would suggest, and this is again, this is from my practice and my experience of 20 plus years and of 35 years of 35 plus years of having periods. I usually would suggest is understand your body, understand which cycle, what phase, how you feel during each phase of your cycle. um, Understand how exercise helps. One, understand how foods are helping you. So things like chocolate. So I like to give the thing of example of chocolate because it's the most craved food. Chocolate has phytochemicals that and antioxidants that make actually kick in into your system that make you feel like you're in love. They trigger the same chemical response, and that makes you feel better, and that's a good feeling. So when a woman is in the PMS stage and she's craving something like chocolate, having a small piece of chocolate can actually help alleviate your symptoms of PMS. It can help alleviate the cramping and the mood swings. Um, it makes you feel better. But remember, you only require that small piece. You don't require a larger amount. And that's where we have to, women need to understand their bodies, what their requirements are, and go accordingly. Um, See, at every single stage, when I talked about teens, I talked about women who are at a stage where childbearing age, in their late 30s, in their premenopausal menopausal stages. Each phase is different. So understanding your body, not putting your body into a more stressful situation. So when you're on a diet, you're always in a stressful situation because you've removed, there is some sort of restriction when it comes to dieting. um, so when with going thinking of that, you're already putting yourself into a stressful situation when your body is already going through the hormonal changes and the chemical changes that it's already going through during the menstrual cycle. So this becomes a double whammy, and instead of doing that, the best thing is utilization of moderation, using moderation in anything we do. So moderation in food, portion control, and exercise. So these things together actually make it a better combination and give you a better outcome rather than doing things like dieting and uh, probably putting your mood out there completely. So especially for women who are in the PMS stage and thinking about going into a diet, I would usually suggest wait for your period to start, and on the when your period stops, that's usually when you should take that decision whether you want to go into a dieting phase or not. So.
Okay. Coming to my final question, Gauri.
Mhm.
Yesterday, Dr. Mukherjee explained about PCOS and the relation with fitness. Now, I ask you the same. This is a very common issue faced by a lot of women out there. Many of them are not even aware that they may be facing through this. What is the connection between PCOS and nutrition?
A lot. Huge connection,
Could you
especially
explain it to the viewers?
yeah, it's a huge connection. So oh, uh, medically, there is still no pinpointed answer or pinpointed reason why women have PCOS. PCOS is basically polycystic ovary syndrome. Now, when we talk about syndrome, it is a culmination or a group of different symptoms. Now, what if I have PCOS? My symptoms are probably not going to be exactly the same as the next person, next lady who has PCOS. Our symptoms might be similar, they might be completely different. It's different from for every single person. But PCOS in the current scenario, in the current day and age, we are seeing a lot more of young girls and young women who are who do have these symptoms, and the symptoms can be anything from mood swings to excessive weight gain, hair loss, androgynous, facial hair, very irregular periods. All these are symptoms of PCOS. And internally there are multiple other slew of symptoms such as fat retention. Then you have insulin resistance, the severe insulin resistance depending on the level of PCOS you have, and it can cause a huge issue for especially young girls and women who are in that phase where going into their childbearing years, and it becomes very difficult for a lot of these women with PCOS to even conceive. Nutritionally, the biggest thing that we have in terms of nutrition is usually doctors and dietitians do suggest that they follow a Mediterranean style diet, meaning a lot more whole grains, millets, fruits and vegetables, very rich in fruits and rich in fruits and vegetables, diet rich in calcium, a little calcium rich foods, because that seems to have a good effect on the bone health as well as other hormonal and chemical health in the body. So that nutritionally, making sure that you are eating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, rich in whole grains, rich in legumes and nuts. This is very important. I usually advocate switching. If you switch even to a vegetarian diet, you see a lot more relief and a lot more changes, positive changes in the symptoms of PCOS. However, having said that, diet is about 60% of what they're doing, and it's usually PCOS has genetic factors and it has environmental factors and a lot to do with lifestyle, how the lifestyle has changed, and how sedentary. But the one thing that keeps coming up every single time is sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle, you have to move. Movement is necessary.
Medicine.
Physical activity. If you are not physically active in every single day, okay, I'm not saying throughout the day continuously, but there are certain phases where you have to be physically active. That really helps in making sure that PCOS does not occur, or you can help the symptoms and get a better perspective on it, get a better handle on it. Weight loss is usually what most doctors suggest for women with PCOS, but there are a category of women who do not put on that much weight but still have the symptoms of PCOS. So physical activity is one of the most crucial things that I would definitely advocate. Nutrition, definitely, because what you eat is also adding to the entire body, but what you expend is really important.
So I think that's quite a bit of information given through the nutrition side today. So guys, I know you might still have questions after seeing this video when I'm going to be uploading this. You're going to have, many more queries. You can DM me. I'll forward the queries to Gauri, or you can DM Gauri. You can follow us for more information. You guys can direct message us. We would be more than happy to help you. If there are any other topics on this particular thing you want us to cover, tell us. We'll be more than happy to do it. So Gauri, what's going to be a punchline?
Women make up 50% of the world's population. Okay, we're the other half, right? We're the other half. Talking about periods, making it normal is very essential. Making sure women get the kind of health care and health attention is extremely important. just so that our future generations that come from these women are healthy. Okay. So all said and done, men's health is important, women's health is important. They're two very different, uh, you know,
Aspects.
aspects of human health.
Okay, I think she's having
Sure.
internet issues. But as she said, two different aspects. You have men's health, women's health. Okay, Gauri, you're back. So you were saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So I was like, I think men's health, women's health.
Okay, she's again frozen. So I think. Okay, so as he was saying, men's health, women's health, both have, equaling part. We're going to be doing a section on men's health also very soon, maybe coming in the next week. But as we're sticking on women's health, as she said, it's time for us, to, talk about this. It's for us to, work towards making a better thing, as she said, for the next generation and the many more generations to come. Let's make it much better for them. So that's what I will end the talk at. Let's work together. Let's do our best where we can, help them improve for the future. Okay, let it not be a taboo or things like that. Let us talk about this. Let us explain things to people, because the more and more I read, the more and more I learned. So as I was saying, it's not a taboo anymore. It's time for us to move ahead. And as Gauri was saying, let us work towards making this a better place for the future generations. Make it, let them have the best of the knowledge, best of the things available for them. So let's work towards that. So that would be my punchline. I think Gauri has given her punchline already. So let's end it
Absolutely.
at that, Gauri. So it's been an incredible show. You have given a lot of information. Guys, I'm going to be posting this video. You guys can like it, share it with your friends. If you enjoy it, do like it. Do let us know if there are any feedbacks. And do let us know if you have any topics that you want us to cover. So for
Absolutely.
today, it is Gauri and Hustling Muscles. We're signing out. We hope everybody have an amazing weekend ahead. Stay safe. I know the curfews are coming down, the lockdowns are coming down. Stay safe, take all the necessary precautions, but do enjoy the freedom. So guys, take care. Gauri, thank you again so much for joining us. And
Thank you,
guys,
Prateek.
thank you for viewing this, and thank you if you're going to be viewing it again. Thank you so much.